Hey everybody, I wanted to do a quick follow-up to my light testing I did on Wednesday. I'll be able to show you the results. I sent those into NextGen to get some panos made, ran it through on some of the new templates, even had some silhouettes. So I'm going to try to do some different stuff with that. But I just wanted to follow up with you, show you the results. I'm going to do a really Sean actually Bass is going to do a deep dive on this at the summer camp. So basically, what we're doing with NextGen is where we were requiring specifically the last light highlight. We're going to shift that to just be on white. So whatever you choose to use is entirely up to you. That could be white seamless paper. It could be any of the things I'm about to show you. Still highly recommend the HiLite. It just gets set up so easy. It travels so well. It's durable. So again, highly recommend the HiLite, but I know the price jump on it has made it a little cost prohibitive. So if that's the case for you and your business, I want to allow some alternatives to get the lowest possible price point with NextGen possible, but not have quite such a expensive barrier to entry. Still believe in the tool, still think it's an amazing product, and still recommend if you can afford it that you buy it. But I understand, each business is a little different. And some of you may be in a position to buy these and some not. So I just wanted to show you what I found and some of the ideas I had, and hopefully they help you if you're looking for a white background that will travel well and you can use, that's inexpensive. Hopefully these work for you. So let me share my screen here, and I'll just quickly show you what what I found on Wednesday shooting this stuff. So first off, again, still believe in the HiLite, still think it's a really cool tool. It gets set up so easy. And now setting up some of these other options, it kind of reminded me how nice the HiLite is, that it stands up on its own. It's so compact and you don't need extra stands. You don't need any kind of, you don't need anything else to stand it up. It just stands up on its own. So, honestly, doing this with these other tools kind of reminded me why it's so nice, but understanding that this is a pretty big price jump. It used to be like 450, and now we're talking about almost 650. So I get it. So I just wanted to be able to show you guys some different ways that you could utilize a white background quickly. And so again, my goal, because I'm trying to mimic some of the things that we get from the HiLite, some of my goals were as few of lights as possible. So, the HiLite's two lights. We know that, and we want to try to use as few of lights as possible. As small of a footprint as possible. Footprint meaning just what is your shoot station? How much space does it take to actually photograph your athletes? So we want to be able to do this under a tent. We want to be able to do this in small, compact spaces. Again, trying to get some of the benefits that we get from the HiLite with some different tools that maybe are less expensive. So as few of lights as possible, uh, small footprint, and ease of setup, teardown. Again, realizing that that this is really easy. These other ones are not quite as easy. So I tried this Glow super collapsible. Let me get rid of this. Get out of here. Super collapsible background. It's 8 feet across by 8 feet tall. And then you get another 8 feet of floor, which again, we'll talk about that floor. It has its own inherent problems, but I think I sort of have a solution. I didn't get to try it because I didn't know at the time, what the problems were going to be. But I'll show you in a second. So this is one that I tested, was this Glow super collapsible 8 foot by 16 foot white. This is translucent, so you can push light through the back, and I'll just show you how I set that up. And then I tried the Westcott X Drop in white. Now, this says that it's 8 feet, and I'm assuming it's saying that it's 8 feet across, but mine was not 8 feet across. So maybe it's saying that this is 8 feet tall, which I would believe that. And then in total, it's 13 feet long, which if this is 8 feet, what does that give you? Like 5 feet right here. So you don't have quite as much of a floor to play with. But again, I'll tell you why I think that these floors are kind of irrelevant anyway, because I'll show you in a second. This one has gotten a lot of talk online. Again, I didn't try this one because this is basically a HiLite. So this is basically what we already know and love in a HiLite. So I don't really think I need to test this because, and again, at a $500 price point, again, it's pretty expensive. Now, I don't know. I haven't really done a huge bit of investigating into this tool. I haven't seen where this has a Velcro floor, but like the HiLite, so you basically block this black gap. But if you're never shooting anything that is full length, you don't have to really worry about it. But in next gen, a lot of the stuff that we do is full length. So we kind of want a block that's black down here so that it's as seamless as possible from the floor to the actual background. So let me show you basically what I got. So this is the setup with this out of here. Leave me alone. So this is the Glow background. So pretty good. I mean, it's all right. So basically the lighting is fine. I'm getting some edge light there. It's kind of got the same look. This is 2 lights. Now, let me just tell you some of the problematic things I found with this. So one, setting it up wasn't a great experience. It sets up and it has these little Velcro tabs that you can kind of see here. You basically have those on the side. You set up 2 stands on either side, and you put these little Velcro tabs on your stands. If you're trying to set this up by yourself, it wants to just flop over and fall. So you would absolutely need to have sandbags on your stands so that when you get one side attached and this side's trying to flop over, it doesn't just pull your stand over and fall on the floor. So you would definitely need some weight on these stands as you're setting this up. And again, the little Velcro tabs, it's kind of a weak way to attach that. So I don't know, you may feel like you want to do some A clamps or some clamps to that stand to make that a little more rigid. Now, the big problem I see in any of you that have done any kind of volume sports is this floor. So this is just cloth fabric, and it's completely attached to the background. So there is no chance you're throwing this in the washing machine. There's no chance you're ever going to have a way to wash this. So if you've done any kind of volume sports for any kind of time, you know that 2 shoots, this thing is brown at best. The only thing I can think, I was trying to think, well, what would be the solution here? I think that the only solution would be lay this out and then something like the HiLite Train, a piece of vinyl that you could just lay over top of this. So, if you're really handy, you could take this and sew Velcro across here and then sew Velcro across a piece of vinyl. And then when you set this up, you could lay the vinyl over top, adhering it across here, and you would get a pretty good seamless transition from the background to the floor. But this being so lightweight, It's, when we're talking about that thick vinyl floor that comes with the HiLite, we don't have to worry about all these little wrinkles and stuff that are happening here. We don't have to worry as much about it buckling and like covering their shoe if you need their feet in for a full length team build or any full length graphics. This in any kind of soft material, be it carpet, whatever, it's going to really buckle because it's really, really thin. Again, that's why this background is semi-translucent, is because it's super thin cotton fabric. So it's not like the front of a soft box, basically, or the front of the HiLite. It is like cotton. So again, I don't know why they didn't make this detachable so that you could wash it in a washing machine and like bleach it. If it was just going to be fabric, I mean, they obviously know people are going to walk on it. We're dealing with sports and kids with cleats and dirty feet. But I mean, even if you were using this in a studio setting, it's going to get really dirty over time anyway, and there's zero chance of cleaning it. Now, I mean, maybe in their eyes it's only $89 and you just buy a new one and then just throw this away. I don't know. But at that point, you got 10 shoots, you might as well have bought a HiLite. So I don't know. The only thing I can think is to lay vinyl over top of this cloth. That's the only way this thing, because of this floor, is viable at all. All right. So again, the lighting is very similar to a HiLite. And just to give you an idea, basically, you can look at my super crude drawing here. Basically, I have the glow background set up right here. I put a light in the back that basically just has an umbrella, and it's bouncing light back at the back of the glow background, and that is pushing light through, giving me my white background, and then I just have a single beauty dish here. So again, this is only 2 lights, so that's what we like. Easy setup, minimal lighting needed, and get a good result with some edge lighting and some textural detail that it brings out in their clothes and their jerseys. You can see all this little kicker stuff. So again, I'll show you guys the results. I built out some teams and some memory mates and some panos for these guys for coming out and helping me. But again, I like the lighting. Setup was a little tricky. The floor is completely unusable. It needs to be covered by something that you can wipe off and clean. So again, not horrible, not a horrible solution for $89. Not the worst thing I've seen. Definitely not as great as a HiLite, but viable option if you put something over the floor. The floor is unusable in its current state. Again, if you're not doing anything full length, you could just not worry about it that much. And just, because again, with next gen, we're just going to cut at wherever it gets difficult. So you're going to basically not have feet. But if you're not doing any full length graphics, it really doesn't matter anyway. I was actually wanted to see if I could get some Cheryl Bayshore special kind of silhouettes out of it, and it did work fine. So I basically just killed my beauty dish and just left my umbrella in the back pushing light through, and it made a pretty cool silhouette. So I'll play around with those and give these guys something cool. But so silhouettes are still on the table with this one because it works. So again, decent option. Definitely have to have a piece of vinyl for the floor. I'll just be super honest. This is not going to work. It's not going to work. So then the next one was the X drop. And again, trying to go minimum footprint. And remember, I said the floor here is pretty small. So you've only got about 5 feet of its floor. Now, again, this one is their non-wrinkle fabric. This is fabric. Now, this one is not attached to the frame. So they just have these little grommets and the stand itself holds it up. Let me see if it actually shows on the website. So if I go back here, you can see it's just got these little grommets, and the stand holds it up. If you look at it from kind of a side view, so you have this little stand, grommets, it holds it up. It grommets to the feet to give you a bend, but you can see your deck here is pretty small, so you don't have a lot of room, but it doesn't matter because, again, the only way this is viable is a piece of vinyl that you lay down over top of that to protect it from getting dirty. Because, again, you could throw this one in the washing machine. I assume, I didn't see if it said it was machine washable, but I would assume you could wash this and bleach it, and try to clean it up. But that's just a pain. I'd rather have a piece of vinyl to put down that I can just wipe off over time and not have to worry about that. So I, again, with both of these being cloth, I would just cover them with some kind of vinyl and just save yourself the headache of doing that. But I do like that it comes down. Your vinyl would go here, and then it would sort of create a seamless bend there. So again, totally usable, just need vinyl. So the way I lit this one is I just did, again, excuse my horrible drawing. So let's say the little decking comes out here. So have my X drop, the little legs are behind like this. I put 2 umbrellas. So now this is a 3 light setup. There's no real kind of good way to set this up with 2 lights without having to bring in like a boom maybe overhead or something like that, but I don't want to get into all that. So I just did 2 umbrellas, really angled more at the back, with just a little bit of feathering to come out to catch the edges of the subject to give them that edge lighting. So I just want a clean white, with just a little spill to the edges to give me some edge lighting. And you can see here, this is my stand. I guess I didn't have them super even, but you get the idea. They're mainly shooting straight back. So they're mainly just lighting the background, but there's a little spill here that is doing the lighting, giving him some edge light, and giving him some depth and dimension, kind of on both sides, which is a little different than the HiLite. Usually with the HiLite, because we only try to put one light on one side, this is actually giving me a little kicker on both sides, which is kind of nice. But again, this is an umbrella on this side, an umbrella on this side, and a beauty dish lighting him. And that's all it is. So both of these you can kind of see, again, works pretty well, pretty shallow footprint, because the stand for the X drop is not super deep. So I don't need a ton of space to set this up. Now, that X drop, I'm assuming, man, if it's windy outside and you're under a tent and you're not super locked in and blocking the sun, this thing's going to be all over the place. Same with this one. There's not a lot of weight to it, and it's thin, so you're going to have some wind issues if you're trying to shoot this outside. But if you're going to always be indoors, I think both of these are very valid. Again, doing something to the floor, and I think you'd be all right. I didn't try to do a silhouette here, but I'm assuming if I just turned off the main light, I was kind of running out of time. If I turned off the main light, I would get a similar look to what I was getting here. Again, this is where I'm saying this is not 8 feet wide. This is only about 5 feet wide. I think it is 8 feet tall and 13 feet long. So you've got much more of a much less space here than you would get with this 8, because this one is 8 feet wide by 8 feet tall, and then you have 8 feet of floor. So it's much bigger if you're doing dance or anything like that. This one is much more narrow, 5 feet wide, 8 feet tall, and about a 5 foot floor area. So he's only standing maybe a foot or two from the background. So there was just enough room to sneak these umbrellas in, to light this up without having too much spill on the front of him, really trying to control that. Give me a nice clean background that gives me, I'm not blowing out. I've still got my nice hair. You can see all the little hair details here. And from doing extractions, that's what we want. We want those little flyaways. So we're not blowing out. It's really nice. It's working really well. But again, just not as much width here, and not as much space to stand. So, okay, so basically that's it. I'll share the results of this shoot with you. I've got some video as well, kind of a little video walk around of the sets. And I will be going over all of this at the summer camp. So if you guys come to summer camp, Sean will have all these stations set up. We'll shoot on each one so you can see what these look like. Still true believer in shooting on white for extractions. We don't like to deal with green spill when we're dealing with full length extractions, hair, all the green coming through hair, but we just want to have some options. Now, this lighting setup with the umbrellas, this could totally be seamless paper. If you were so inclined to set up a background, pole, and seamless paper and deal with all of that, and you were going to be probably the only way that's going to work is indoors. Seamless paper, you could light it exactly the same way. 2 umbrellas, lighting the background, just enough feathering to let a little light spill over here. You're going to get a little bounce fill off the back as well. Again, a 3 light setup on seamless would work fine. Again, we're just trying to avoid taking 5-foot, 9-foot rolls of seamless paper on location with us. It's a pain, at least with the X drop and the glow background, they collapse down. That was one of our features we were looking for with anything we're testing is travelability. And the glow folds up, same as a HiLite would, and goes into a round case. The X drop folds up. Maybe they have a picture of it. Folds up and just goes into a bag. This little stand collapses down like that, and it goes into a bag. The glow just folds up and goes into a round bag like that. So again, I mean, both are valid. Both have their pluses. Definitely not as amazing as a HiLite. Still think this is the coolest thing on the market. Small, compact, travels well. The detachable vinyl floor is really nice. I feel like with both of these, you're getting a season out of this backdrop. I mean, and this, you may get a half a season out of it, because even with the HiLite, this background is kind of like a glossy satiny finish, where if somebody gets mud or dirt on it, it can kind of clean up much better than like cotton. This is, if you get mud on here, you're never getting it off. It's going to be there forever, because there's no way to get this off of here to clean it. And again, when I say it's cotton, it is super thin, kind of really textured cotton. So again, we'll have this at the summer camp. You guys can check it out. You guys can see what it looks like. We'll shoot on it. But I just wanted to give you my report. I'm getting a lot of, when they brought the price up to $645, I was getting a lot of people asking about alternatives, a lot of new customers asking about alternatives. So we're going to change our wording to say we require for the lowest price we put out there, it's going to need to just be on white, but we just want to present some options for those white backgrounds. Okay, so if you guys have questions, let me know. Drop them in this video. I'm going to share this video on the 2 platforms. If you have questions, let me know. Once I get these results back, I'll show you what I made with them. You can see how these two things actually translated into the graphics themselves, and you guys can, make that call, what you like and what you don't like. And again, I can answer any questions you have. So just let me know if any questions come up, hit me. I'll answer questions in the comments, but hope you guys are having a good start to your spring season, and I look forward to talking to you all soon. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.